Hello you. I've done a look at a few of my favourite controllers. Let's have a look at some weird ass ones, shall we? Yes, let's. I showed you a glimpse in the last one. The Conic Speed King. Sticker's a bit torn on this one, but it works. You've got a trigger there. Some models have an extra one there. Some of them have auto fire, but original 8-bit single button Conic Speed King. Fits nicely in the hand. You do start to get cramp if you're having to do that a lot, so that's worth bearing in mind if you're going to be playing something with a lot of shooting. But you can hear it clicking. I mean, it does go further, but it requires very little movement in order to. So that's really good for waggling. Obviously, if you want to hold it that way round, well, you're a bit mental, aren't you? If you're left-handed, there were left-handed models available where that shape was reversed the other way round, but I've never seen one. I've heard of such things, but I mean, we've all heard the propaganda, but yeah, it's nice. It's solidly built, but it's very much an acquired taste. Look, there's even a ridge there for your thumb to rest in, and considering they're made for kids, it's still a decent size to be held in an adult's hand. So that's the Conic Speed King. They also did the Conic Navigator, which I used to have, which was more of a Star Trek phaser sort of design, and that was really nice, and that was even better, but boilers just come on in the background. Excuse me. Off. The Conic Navigator, yeah, phaser sort of design, that was even better, I recall, and I did used to have one, and I've no idea where it got to. So I'm on the lookout for one of those sometime, because I'd love to get one of them again. So, well, while I'm looking at the 8-bit stuff, I might as well look. I've got a joypad, a whiz card. That seems pretty much like a standard card, doesn't it? Only, what's it say here? It says top. You know, left-handed and right-handed? Well, you might not want to go like that. So they designed it so that you held it like that. So you hold it like that, and you've got that, and you've got buttons 1 and 2, which kind of works, but it's not amazingly ergonomic. But it does the job. It's a joypad, and oh yeah, I remember this. Can I pop it open? When I bought this, it didn't have a screw in the back. Oh, there we go. So it's quite easy just to. That is it. That is all there is to it. You've got to get some contacts there. You've got some contacts there. Let's pop it all back together again. Pop that back in there. Let's pop that back in. Yeah, and it all just fits together quite neatly and hasn't fallen apart yet. So, nice simple design. If you want a joypad for your 64, but don't mind holding it a weird way around, or your Spectrum or your Amstrad or anything else like that, you know, standard Atari 8-pin. Yeah, so that's the whiz card, which is a bit of an odd one, but it's alright. It's a bit spongy, but it's okay. What else have I got lying around here? Not quite as old as the 8-bit stuff, but a curiosity that was quite good in some respects. The Space Orb 360 for the PC with a serial port connector. I got this with Descent. You know what I was saying about keyboard and mouse controls being unbeatable? Well, they tried to beat it. They tried to make it like, oh look, you can have a controller like you have with those fangled consoles. And you think, well, how's that work then? Well, you know, you got your standard, you got 4 buttons, and you got another 2 up here, so you got 6 buttons. So that's not bad to start with, considering this was early to mid 90s, I think. And this is the joystick, kind of. Imagine this is your head, and you are facing that away. that way. So that's your viewpoint in the game. So you can twist it so you're looking left, looking right, looking up, looking down. So that turns around all all different angles. So that's your mouse look, and you can also push it to strafe left, right, up, down, and forwards and back. So you can go looking up, you can spin all the way around, you can. It's really nicely thought out. Takes a bit of getting used to, but you just got to remember that's the front of your ship, front of your character, whatever, and so that's your viewpoint. But you can also back off while looking up, and it's all right, but not quite as intuitive as keyboard and mouse. And also, as I say, requires a serial port, which back in the day I had force feedback joystick on serial, modem on serial, art pad on serial, this, I think it was a serial mouse as well. I had an extra card in my PC to give me extra serial ports, and then I had all the fun of COM 1, 2, 3 and 4 and having to, bit of a nightmare. God bless USB finally coming out. But yeah, Space Orb 360, pretty solidly built and worked alright. It was just a case of getting used to it. And while I'm thinking about it, talking about getting used to things, let's get that untangled. The Negcon. Really, really good, but takes a lot of getting used to. Once you get into the zone on a racing game, namely Ridge Racer, let's face it, this is really good, because when you're driving, your hands kind of twist round the steering wheel, so that's what this emulates. You twist that, and that is your steering. So you're going right, left, and it's really smooth and has nice D-pad. You've got a button, and you've got analog buttons, which is quite something, and analog triggers, which also have a button at the end. There's a slight click at the end, I think that's, or is that just, I'm not sure actually. But you've got digital buttons and analog buttons, and like I say, takes some getting used to, but when you do, it's second nature. You know, your hands are effectively, you're just steering, and it's brilliant. When you lose, if you're not in the zone, suddenly you'll be approaching a corner and you'll think, oh hell, which way do I turn my hands now? And you'll go wrong and slam into a wall. It's terrible if you're forgetful. If you're in the zone, you can forget about it and you are just in the game controlling. If you're thinking about the controls, it's terrible. You're all over the shop, or I am anyway. I'd like to get a Jogcon, which is one that had a little turny wheel, so it was like a little steering wheel on top. But I'm not going to spend a fortune on one because I'm rubbish and I've got enough controllers as it is. That said, talking about steering controllers, let's get this one untangled, because I've got something well, is it similar? Not really, but it's a steering controller for the Xbox. Oh look, you can do that with it, and that's your analog, but I don't know if you can hear it. This is a Gamester. It is creaky as hell. Doesn't work amazingly well. You've got a tiny little D-pad there, but then I suppose you didn't want a big one because your hands are there. You've got some triggers there that are a bit loose, and the whole thing just screams cheap. It's a Radica Gamester, Radica China Limited, product shape TM. Right, because you wouldn't want anyone copying this. Yeah, it's not great. This is the problem. Sometimes, I mean, look, this is Namco. It's official. It might not be official PlayStation, although it's got the official PlayStation logo. Maybe it... No, it's made by Namco, but it's designed for a game. This is just designed to be different. and make people go, ooh, maybe that'll be great for my racing games, and then you buy it and they go, no, it isn't. Maybe some other people have had better luck with it, but I've never really gone a bundle on it. Non-standard button layouts and things like that are always irritating. And with that, because say your standard N64 controller, weird as hell layout, but all the games were designed for that layout of buttons. You might not like the controller, but all the buttons are there in a set place, and all games are designed for those controllers, really. You get something like this, the SuperPad 64 Plus, which sounds like incontinence stuff really, but the Interact SuperPad 64 Plus P300. You've got a trigger button underneath, so that's okay, that feels quite nice. You can use whatever thing you like. You can stick a rumble pack or a memory card in there. It's got a decent enough copy of the N64 stick. You've got a deeper, but the buttons are in different places, and it's feels well made, but this bulbous bit on the side and a thin bit on that side and a bulbous bit on that side does not make for a comfortable grip. It's kind of it just doesn't feel right in the hand there. But if you want a pad rather than sort of trident shape, well, there was that. If you wanted an arcade pad, you could get this beast, and then your buttons are all over the blooming shop. Nicely built, metal base. It is weighty, it is solid. You could bludgeon someone to death with this. You're supposed to have joysticks that screw into these bits. You can leave them out and have them like joypads, or you can put sticks in them. I don't have the sticks, so that's not an option. So you can tell why this doesn't get brought out very often. So I'll put it up there so we can actually see it. Yeah, memory card in there. I doubt you'd want to put a rumble pack in there. Also, rather weirdly, I don't know if you can... I'm holding it straight here, yeah? Why is there not an up, down, left, right? Why is it going diagonals? Why is it going north, east, south, west? It's very odd. Very, very weighty. It feels like a quality product. If I had the sticks, it might be a different matter. It might be a very nice arcade controller for the N64. But as it is, it's a bit... And then of course you get other variants of the N64 controller where they kind of kept it a bit more similar. This one you hold up there instead. So you hold it there and then you just... No. You want the handles down there so your thumb goes up to the buttons. You don't want to be holding it there and you've got nothing to hold there. So you put your hand there, and but it's alright. And it was cheap. It does sound a bit cheap as well, but yeah, so there are loads of different options when it comes to N64 unofficial pads, and a lot of them are rather pup. Something about it. Quick unboxing. A Zinger, which might look familiar. It's basically a Cheetah 125, I think. Or was it a Quick Shot one? But you can hear how rattly that is. Because let's face it, I've never been a fan of the NES controller. And I saw this going dirt cheap in a charity shop once. Went, ah, brilliant, a boxed. Ooh, an NES one. Same sort of rubbery pads. Doesn't say Quick Shot underneath, but looks like it's pretty similar moulding. Oh, just see. It says, can you see that? Bishu and Zinger. You've got your select and start buttons. Oops, sorry. You've got quick fire for buttons A and B. So you've got an auto fire. But whereas, oh yeah, listen to how it's silent. It's got crappy leaf springs. How rubbish is that trigger? Compare. That doesn't really move until it clicks. This rattles around in the socket like mad. Really, really rubbishy buttons. And weirdly, Great Kiana Sisters on the 64 works with a joystick, and I've never been a fan of it being on a joypad. Whereas Mario, try to play Mario with something like that, it's not great. What next? If anyone's still watching at this point. 15 minutes of looking at weird joysticks. The Beast, of which I have two. The Soul Calibur 2 limited edition arcade joystick. Let's see if we can get this open without tearing anything. Nice picture of Soul Blade. Yeah, it's a weird shaped box which makes it nice and awkward to put on a shelf. But hey, two of them, they stack together quite nicely. Design wise, let's put that box over there. Whoop. It's got an interesting design to it. You've got these sort of leatherette sort of pads for your hand to fit there. It's not a noisy thing, but it's got good control. There's a hair in there, that looks like a cat hair. You've got a gruesome design on it of the sword, and you've got lots of buttons. Now, this is one of the problems. It's a great pad for Soul Calibur and various other beat 'em up and things like that, but these buttons, I don't know if you notice, where's the end of the cable? Can be used on Xbox, PS2, GameCube. Not all at once, obviously, unless you put your consoles very close to each other, and I'm not sure how that would work. But because it came out on all three formats, they made joysticks that worked on all three formats, which is very nice. You don't want to be playing something like Double Dash using this, though. Shoulder buttons and things are all mapped to... See, we've got right 2... Oh, no, sorry. See, we've got right 2 there and right 1. We've got triangle, circle, X... and square, and then we've got X, Y, B, A, and it's like, well, hang on, which one's which, and which one's GameCube, which one? So again, non-standard buttons, but it's a great one for it's a great one for beat 'em ups. It is, it does work quite nicely. Bear in mind, I haven't used a Hori stick or any of those fancier, more expensive ones, but this is nice. But only really for Soul Calibur and other beat 'em ups. But then I suppose, who buys an arcade stick to do a racing game? Yeah. Yeah, and Donkey Konga bongos. I ain't getting those out. Everyone's seen Donkey Konga bongos, haven't they? Give us a shout if you haven't. But oh, one other thing about it, I've got that resting on top of there. We've got the Quick Shot. What was this called again? The Quick Shot. The Quick Shot model number QS138F. Yeah, for professional players. Clicky. Very clicky. Weirdly, you can have it as standard Atari connectors, or MSX, or Amstrad, or Sega. You know, Sega? Yeah, you could plug it into your Mega Drive and only have 2 buttons. Doesn't work too well. I tried it on the Master System, and I don't think it worked too well on that either, so I think it's like that NES joystick. You can use it with it, but it's not as good as the official ones. But yeah, this is a nice one for not too bad for waggling. It's a nice arcade stick. You've got auto fire for 2 buttons. You can also plug one. You've got 2 cables coming off it and 2 connectors, so you can plug that into your Commodore 64, one into port 1, one into port 2, and then you can just switch between whether it's for player 1 or player 2. So that's a nice touch. You can have one joystick and then just pass it. Obviously no good for one-on-one games, but if it's taking turns, does the job. And oh, there's another Commodore 64 Curio kicking sticking around there. These are getting awfully tangled on the desk here now. We have the lipstick from Access. That's it. It was a headset with no earphones, just a microphone, and it's not a particularly fancy microphone. I modded this one, hacked it apart, well, took off the overhead bit, bent some coat hanger and put some electrical tape around it so that it could become a behind the ear model, and you plug that into port 1 on your Commodore 64 and it registers when you make a noise. Any noise, doesn't matter, you can just blow into it and it registers the same as hitting space. That came with Echelon, Access game by Bruce Carver, was it? He of Beachhead and all the rest. This is where I find out, no it wasn't, but I think it was. So that you could shout fire and it would fire a missile. So you've got your normal guns on your fire button, but then you can shout fire, and then everyone in the house wonders why you're shouting fire, fire all the time and calls the fire brigade. But at least they don't see you carrying one of these and think you're carrying a weapon of some kind and the police shoot you. I've got too many joysticks in the middle here now, I've got too much crap in the way. It's another gamester, but this is alright, in a way. Again, we've got the same problem with non-standard button layouts. You've got ones there, and you've got ones there, and you've got triggers. I picked this up dirt cheap in a charity shop because the left trigger was busted. But fortunately, after I managed to dismantle it, it was just a peg there for the spring inside, so I was able to drill a hole into it and fit a screw into the hole and fit the spring onto that, and hey presto, that's working lovely now. You've got a screen on there for telling you things you're not really paying any attention to because you're looking at the screen. Dual stick, dual triggers, extra buttons under there, nicely laid out. But if you've seen my Burnout Dominator video when I tried this, again, non-standard controls, pain in the arse, especially when you're used to a normal controller. But it feels nice, it looks alright, it feels nice. It's an oddity, I've just got to find the right game to play with it. Maybe black or something like that. It's designed for first person shooters rather than racers or anything like that. And I don't really play first person shooters that often on the... This was PS2, wasn't it? Yes, this is for the PS2. I think you can get them for the Xbox as well. So, have we covered everything here? We've certainly covered the dining room table, and I'm going to need to put all these away again now, so these are all going to get tipped back into a box and other things put back on the shelf neatly, and you can guess probably which ones get tipped into a box. Not sure if this counts as a controller, but while I've got it out, the Trance Vibrator for Res. I might as well open it on the camera, eh? Bit of fluff there. A velvety bag with a USB cable. And you think, what? Quite a snug. And that's it. You plug this into your PS2, you shove it in your pocket, sit on it, shove it down your girlfriend's or whatever, and then you play Res, and you get pleasurable vibrations that match the game. Make of that what you will. Now it does work quite nice. It's instead of having a rumble pack in your hand, you sit on it and get vibrations. Oh, there's even some bump in here that I can't read. Yes, you plug it into your PS2 and it vibrates in time with the beats and what you're doing in the game, and it's really, really nice. It's not revolutionary, and I'm not sure it even counts as a controller, but it's an accessory that goes with a game, and it's fun. And you can pretend, you can try and be perfect, it's vibrator. It's not that powerful. If you can be brought off by that, then I'm sure a washing machine on a spin cycle will blow your mind. Yeah, so the Trance Vibrator for the PS2, a whole 609 yen. I have no idea how much. I can't remember how much I paid for it at the time, but nice to have, because I do like a game of res. Yeah, I think we've pretty much covered it. I've got some more weird-ass controllers up in the loft, I think. But when I get a chance to go up there, I don't know. So we shall leave it at that for now. Give us a shout if you want us to have a look at other controllers. I don't know. First time I've done, well, second time I've done this because I've done the four favourite ones. But you want to see any odd controllers that I might have kicking around? I think this is most of it. But give us a shout. Let us know what you think. What's the weirdest controller you've got then? Should we put a question out there? What's the weirdest controller you've got? Whether it's good or bad, whether it's just different from the official one. Do you like it, or did you buy it for curiosity and now it's sitting there gathering dust? Yeah, so we'll leave it at that. Here's a stack of weird joysticks scattered across the table. Hope you enjoyed watching. Catch you on the next one maybe. Ta-ta.